My name is Jeansonne, and today I'll be talking to you about the themes portrayed in Washington Cable's Posson Jones. This world is a cheese to be eaten through, and Jules had nibbled his cheese world already at 22. In this scene, we see a theme which Washington Cable portrays early on. And it is the greed of Jules St. Agnew. His greed caused him to spend all of his money that was given to him by his family. All of this money led him to be broke. And he was faced with three alternatives. One was to go to work. He says, never. Two is to join his uncle in his filibustering business venture, which would never happen. Or three, Jules decides that he is to make a friendship of a man from the country, and from there he will convince the man to learn to gamble, where he will take the man's money. This man is Posson Jones, which is from the West Florida parish, and is an American, as they say. So they meet, and they make a friendship in the French Quarter by Rue Charters, actually. And while there, as they're talking, Posson Jones says to Jules, Jules, do you believe in a special providence? In this, they are talking about the chance of something miraculous happening. In Posson Jones's experiences, they once sold a barrel of sugar for much more than it was worth. Jules did actually believe in a special providence, and he was looking right at him. And he spends the time talking to him and uses manipulation to get him to gamble with his money. He puts fear into him. He uses guilt. He builds the hype up of doing something, and he also attacks Jones's morals. Because Jones is brought up as a Protestant man. Jules is brought up Catholic. As they walk and go towards the church, we see that Jules continuously expresses his views on different rules of the church, or different beliefs. And he says how one man's conscience can be different than another's. As they make their way to the church, which was a gambling hall, Colossus, which is Posson Jones's slave, and Baptiste, which is Jules' slave, walk together. They are sent away by their masters to take time until the men are done going into the church. From there, they go to a grocery store where a man is able to sell them alcohol to Negroes, as they say. In there, we see, in the quiet company of Baptiste and the grocer, the colloquial powers of Colossus, which were simply prodigious, began very soon to show themselves. We later find that Colossus, though he is oppressed and embarrassed by his master for being a slave and treated unfairly, he still is his friend. He still is Posson Jones's friend, and he looks out for the better interest of him. Throughout the book, religion and faith are an underlying motif through. And in the beginning of the book, we actually see Jules, in his perspective, wanting to find a man from the country and convince him to gamble, therefore finding a reason to say Hail Mary. What we find in the end of the book, as the young man Jules, in fact, nodded, smiling, but though he smiled, the fountain of his tenderness was opened, he made the sign of the cross as the parson knelt in prayer and even whispered Hail Mary, etc., quite through, twice over. So in the beginning of the book, he wanted to have a reason to say a Hail Mary because he would have gotten money. But by the end of the book, he gives the money back. And he says Hail Marys not for his money or for his situation, but for his conscience and for possibly redeeming and repenting in a religious sense. The very last scene in the book, we have Posson Jones and Colossus on a boat, departing from Jules. From there, trust, faith, and friendship have all paid off. Posson Jones never admitted or never believed that Colossus had stolen the money from him, even though we all knew he did, not for his own greed, but he stole that money to protect his master. The trust between the two, the faith of Posson Jones to believe that he did not steal that money and believe that things will work out, and the friendship between these two are powerful themes throughout this book. Thank you.